moving overseas, because as we found out yesterday, what happens in Greece does not stay there. The country's credit rating downgrades sparking concerns about sovereign debt worldwide, especially in emerging markets. Now, here with us to talk about this is Jan Randolph. He's the head of sovereign risk and country analysis at Global Insight in London. And Jan, great to have you with us.
Good morning.
What strikes me with all of these stories is that we know that Greece, we know that Dubai, we know that a lot of these countries have been carrying these heavy debt loads. So the question is, what distinguishes one from the other? How is it that suddenly all these investors become very worried about Greece? What is it that set it off?
Well, I think, the immediate trigger was the draft budget by the new socialist government that came in October. The key question really is, are the governments in denial about these public finances? All public finances around the world have deteriorated very sharply because of the credit crunch and recession we're just coming out of. The next key question is, do governments have plans and policies to bring public finances back into order? Even if they've only just dusted down the plans, do they recognize the situation, and do they realize that once recoveries gain traction, public finances have to be brought back to balance? Now, the Germans understand that. They've made it clear. We've heard in the UK there are some budget measures to do that.
Right.
And in Ireland, they understand the situation as well. So,
Jan, what you're telling me is that, yes, we have a lot of these countries that are in trouble, but really the ones that are targeted are the countries or the governments that are least, I suppose, coming to terms with it.
Yeah, they still have their heads in the sand a little, and they're trying to muddle their way through, if you like. Quite frankly, given what's happened, the recession, credit crunch, that option may no longer be possible. When we saw the Greek government come in, the new one, we found that the budget deficit was much larger than previously revealed. It's minus 14% of GDP rather than minus 4%. That's a huge difference, and was a bit of a shock, really. Right. It's very important.
Okay.
It's very important that governments. Yeah.
Go ahead. I don't want to cut you off.
Yeah, it's very important that governments recognise the situation they're in. And to say, well, okay, all public finances have deteriorated mainly because of the recession, the bleeding away of tax revenues. But are there plans, once recovery gains traction, are there plans to bring public finances back into order? That's what the markets are looking at, particularly the bond markets that are financing these deficits at the moment. Okay,
so Jan, I want to get specific here. Aside from Greece, aside from Dubai, which we well know about, where is the next big sovereign risk?
Well, there is a lot of stories out there that aren't on the normal news round radar. Jamaica's in trouble at the moment. A number of Central American economies, El Salvador, all experiencing financial stress. These may not be the big emerging markets, but there is still quite a lot of financial stress out there. As far as the others, Eastern Europe and Central Asia, although the situation stabilized a little, it still looks pretty grim, and there's still potential for event risk, particularly in Ukraine and Latvia. Although the EU and its institutions are trying to do their best to backstop any fallout, contagion from these slightly outlying markets from Europe.
Okay, Jan, we'll have to leave it there. But what was interesting in that was that you didn't mention, of course, the U.S. or the UK, which would be very important to hear about. Okay, Jan Randolph, head of sovereign risk and country analysis at Global Insight in London.